Welcome to an out-of-the-box playthrough video. Today I am going to be playing, trust me, I'm a doctor. And you say, how am I going to do that? It's 3 to 8 players. Well, I've been playtesting a solo variant. So that's what I'm going to play through today. The solo variant will be up on Board Game Geek by the time that you see this. So if you're interested, go and download the rules. And I'm just going to give you a bit of an overview of how I like to play. Trust me, I'm a doctor. So in this game, it's an interesting game. It's a game about medical malpractice, medical knowledge and usage in the 1800s. And so if you're a bit squeamish about medical things or the kind of medical treatments that they had in 1800, leeches, electroshock therapy, those kind of things, this probably isn't a video for you. If you're under 15, this definitely isn't a video for you. Time to turn off now. But if you do want to see what happens in Trust Me, I'm a Doctor, and how you might be able to play it solo, stay tuned. So in the 3 to 5 player game, patients get ailments from vile sexual desires, excessive bile, black lung, possession, all kinds of things. And each of those have a symbol that needs to be matched by cures. And the other players argue amongst themselves about which cure is the best cure, and then the patient takes the best worst option and then uses that to cure their ailment. And so as far as I'm aware, in the normal game, there's quite a lot of arguments, there's a debate, and it's all very spirited. So part of the challenge has been trying to capture that kind of process for a solo player game where I'm not arguing against anyone but myself. So the way that it works is I'm going to split the play area into 3 areas. So there's the patient area at the top. There'll be a debate area in the middle where you will be debating against your fellow doctors to show that your treatments are the best treatments. If you win the debate, you then get the opportunity to try and treat an ailment. If you treat all the ailments of a patient, they're cured, and you put them on the side. And if you can cure 3 patients, you win the game. If you don't cure them, or you don't win the treatment debate, their conditions get worse and they get another ailment and they stack up. And as soon as a patient gets 4 ailments, they are dead and it is game over. So it's easy to kind of see it in action. So you shuffle your ailments, you shuffle your cures, you take a hand of 6 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which represents your medical knowledge. You put your we'll put our discards on the left, we'll have our cure deck on the right, we'll have our first ailment, which is possession. So this requires treatment through psychology and a potion. Then our fellow doctors are going to suggest 3 treatments: earth immersion, heliotherapy, or fire therapy. In order for us to defeat and use our advanced medical knowledge to beat those, we have to match the symbols. So we can look in our hand and we have a whole lot of different symbols. So we'd go through and say, I think your fire therapy is ridiculous. It's as bad as Quicksilver. And because they share the symbols, we can knock out that argument. Then we might say something like, oh, okay, your earth immersion is as bad as sweat bathing. Matched. So we've beaten that argument. Now this is tricky because this one only requires 1. But what we can do is, if we have overflow of our medical knowledge, we can put that towards curing the ailment. And you'll need some tokens. So I would say something like your heliotherapy is no match for dead man's oil. And that would mean I'll match up the psychology and my knowledge potion will go through, and I've completed that one. So now I've completed the debate phase. I now have to try and cure the ailment. And the problem is, you can't over treat your patient. So at the moment, I only have to knock off a psychology, but I can't because all mine are 2s. But what I can do is I can discard 2 cards to draw a new card and get a new cure. That hasn't helped. So I'll discard these 2, draw a new one and hope. Oh. And so I have not been able to cure the patient this round. So we start a new round. We clear off any partial cures because they haven't solved the issue. The patient gets slightly worse. They get a new ailment. I draw back up to, I can throw out, but I'm not going to. I'm going to draw back up to 6 cards. Refresh my medical knowledge. And we start a new debate. How we might best deal with the vision loss and position. And let's see what we've got here. Okay. So I will take your maggots and counter that with a good old extraction. Your flagellation is no match for my knowledge of dried white throst. And oh, okay, here we go. So my colononics will beat your caffeine enemas. Ooh. Right, and I can use my arms more redie to counter your vision loss, and my church bell brew will cure your position. These 2 get discarded, that one can go underneath, and we have cured our first patient. I'm a third of the way there. Next patient has femininity. Okay, and I'll draw back up to 6 cards, and I have to argue against pelvic massage, male impotency belt, or Merswine whipping. Okay, well, I can definitely deal with that with some leeches. If I want to deal with this one, I can take your pelvic massage and do a bit of cauterization, knock out 1, and an exorcism. We'll take that one out. What have we got left? Not enough. So what I'll do is I think I will throw out those 2, draw a new card, and I'm fortunate that I can deal with a relaxing visit to the asylum, and a bit of amputation will be so much better than some male impotency belt. However, I'm out of cards, I've run out of knowledge, so this patient will get a new helmet. Let's draw back up to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. More arguments. Right. Okay. So Miracle Tonic can be fecal transplant. We'll deal with that. If they have a bit of opium, I can probably knock that out with some fumigation. And this is going quite well. Cigarettes will deal with my bowlful ale. Okay, so then we can use some scarification to deal with our low phlegm. And then, oh, this works out perfectly. Antimen pills and a bit of prosthesis will deal with my femininity. So that one can go underneath. I've cured patient number 2. This is going swimmingly. Patient number 3, drunkenness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you run out of cures, you just reshuffle the discards. I'm arguing against that with some cocaine, a bit of bone stretching, and some blood transfusions. I'll show you another thing that haven't needed it yet, but the other thing we can do is we did see one example where I could, say I wanted to use this one. I could cancel out the potion and the psychology would flow through. I've still got scissors on there, surgery, so a bit of Pedigree graft will deal with that one. And now I've got a bit of bone stretching. I can deal with that with some organ removal. Oh, I've got some cocaine. And these aren't going to help. So what I could do is I'll discard those two. Oh, will that help? Okay, so I've got bile transfusion. I'll take out the potion and the surgery. Then I'll use a bit of torture to do the psychology. And because I haven't used the surgery, I can flow that through. If there wasn't a surgery there, I wouldn't be able to use that card. That allows us to we win the argument, but we've got no cards. So we start another round. Now, patient gets a little bit worse with this syphilis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for me. Bile drainage, dewigging, electroshock therapy. Okay. Well, this is getting a bit trickier because you have to use more cards. It makes it a lot more difficult to so I could do some draining blood, and then I could do some needles. Needles, yep, and I would have one of those left over. Then, I'm not sure this is going to work, because if I do that one, psychology, I've got that knocked out. I still need to do. Okay, so that will knock out the scissors, which means the potions go through. That's that one gone. And then I'll chuck that out and not be able to solve that, so I'll keep that card. That gets discarded. My patient gets a new element. 2, 3, 4, 5. And it becomes a matter of trying to cure some ailments and take them down, but you have to beat the arguments first. This one doesn't look too bad. Okay, so we'll wound purification. We'll do this with naturopathy, and that will leave us a potion left over. So we'll take that onto the leprosy. What have we got here? Oh, okay. So if I do some bloodletting with a confession, I can actually knock out those two with my extra knowledge. And then I've just got psychology, which I will not be able to deal with. So let's throw away those two and draw a new card. Throw away those two and draw a new card. And go, well, I think I will cut my losses. I need another dice. I do my psychology and I'll flow that one through. Means I've won the argument. That one ailment's been cured, Syphilis, which is fortunate. These two get reset and a new ailment happens. Not ideal, but I'll get them in the end. So I'm through my cures deck, so I give that a reshuffle. My patient's in a pretty bad way, bit of drunkenness, leprosy, and a pistol wound. Should be able to take out the pistol wound or the leprosy, but I really need to cure at least 2 ailments this round, otherwise I'm in trouble. So what's that? It's 4 cards. And how are we arguing? If vibration, cauterization, and a pelvic massage again. Okay, so that's not too bad. So if we do some leeches, and we'll knock out, what else we got? That one, that's good. If we do Moor swine whipping, we can take out that one maybe. And then all I have to do is, so if I do this one, click that through. So I've won my argument. Now we can see what we can do with the rest. So I can cure that one with a bit of skull drilling. That one's gone. And then I'm gonna discard those two and see what we get. Nothing useful. But the patient's not dead. Bit of hair loss. Shouldn't hurt anyone. Fine. So it becomes a matter of working out the best way of arguing and the best way of getting your cures in. Because I've got a lot of psychology here. So let's do a bit of scarification. And then we'll do a fecal transplant, I think. Push that through to the leprosy. And then, can I do this? Maybe. Okay, so if I do a bit of opium with my maggots, I'll have a psychology left over. And then I will deal with that. And then all I've got to do now, and you can't split them across cards, so I'm in a little bit of a bind. So I'll throw those out and draw one more. Fortunately, got some dried white thos, because I can use that against my hair loss. Cure that ailment. Get to live for another round. Typhoid. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So we'll use some cigarettes to deal with our earth emission. We will wait and see. Okay. Blood transfusion is better than quicksilver. And then we've got astral realignment. Deal with that. Okay, and none of those help. So we'll discard those two. Hopefully give me something better. And we'll discard those two. And I don't cure it. Our patient gets their fourth ailment and they die of insomnia. So there you go. That is a quick playthrough of how I'm playing a solo variant of Trust Me, I'm a Doctor. I cured 2 patients fairly easily, and the third patient turned out to be harder than I thought. Drunkenness, leprosy, typhoid, and dying of insomnia. Hope you enjoyed. The rules will be uploaded on Board Game Geek under the variants, and there'll be a file as well. It's got all the details you need. You'll need some tokens. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed, and enjoy your history lesson of 18th century medical practice with Trust Me, I'm a Doctor.